Carlos Alcaraz has not stepped onto a court for an official singles match since April. A wrist injury took him out of action for months, wiping out huge chunks of his summer schedule and leaving fans wondering just how sharp he'll really be when the lights come on in New York. And now, walking back into the U.S. Open as the defending champion, he has been handed one of the toughest possible paths to a second straight title. It's the kind of draw that makes you wonder if the tennis gods have a sense of humor. Before he even gets a sniff of the semifinals, Alcaraz may have to fight through a gauntlet of dangerous American opponents. And waiting on the other side of that gauntlet could be a rematch with Novak Djokovic, followed by a final against the man who beat everyone in Paris this year, Alexander Zverev. Let's start at the beginning. Alcaraz opens against Roman Safiullin, a Russian ranked way down at number 98 in the world. On paper, that sounds like a gentle re-entry, but their history says otherwise. The two have split their previous meetings, one win apiece, so this is not the walkover it might look like on a bracket sheet. It's an early warning sign that nothing in this draw is going to come easy. If Alcaraz gets through that, and a few rounds after it, the fourth round could bring either Alexander Bublik or American Tommy Paul. Alcaraz has beaten Bublik in their only prior meeting, and he holds a comfortable 6-2 record against Paul overall. But here's the catch. Two of Paul's rare wins over Alcaraz came on hard courts, the exact surface they'd be playing on in Flushing Meadows. Tennis analysts have already zeroed in on that potential matchup as the moment we find out how healthy Alcaraz really is. One former top 5 player put it plainly on air, saying he'd love to see Tommy Paul reach that round because it's the matchup that could genuinely expose whatever is left of that wrist issue. He pointed out that Paul is one of the fittest guys on tour, a phenomenal mover who can grind out long rallies, attack forward, or sit back and defend. According to that analysis, Paul might not have the raw power to blow Alcaraz off the court, but he has the tools to make him work for every single point and prove he's actually back to full strength. A former U.S. Open finalist offered a similar read, explaining that when Alcaraz is playing his best tennis, Tommy Paul is one of the very few guys capable of hanging with him, purely because of his footwork and physicality. She said she would be fascinated to see that exact showdown unfold in the fourth round. Assuming Alcaraz survives that test, the quarterfinals could bring yet another American, this time eighth-seeded Ben Shelton. Shelton has been tabbed by more than one respected voice as a genuine threat to win the entire tournament, and one analyst even picked him to reach the final. But Shelton has his own landmine waiting in round 1, a tricky opener against Tallon Griekspoor, ranked all the way down at 56. Don't let that ranking fool you, though. Griekspoor just knocked off top seed Alexander Zverev in Montreal, so he's playing with real confidence right now. Shelton and Alcaraz have split 10 career meetings evenly, 5 apiece, though Alcaraz did take a straight-sets win over him in last year's semi-final at this very tournament. Now let's talk about the man many expect to be waiting in the semi-finals, Novak Djokovic. He's still chasing that elusive 25th Grand Slam title, a record that would put him alone at the top of the sport's history books. Last year didn't go his way at the majors. He lost 3 separate semifinal matches, 2 to Jannik Sinner and 1 to Alcaraz himself. After that U.S. Open loss to Alcaraz, Djokovic was refreshingly candid, admitting that if he has to lose to anyone right now, it's going to be one of those 2 young stars because they are simply playing better tennis than everyone else at the moment, and there's no shame in tipping his cap to that. This year, Djokovic's path opens with what tennis fans love to call a popcorn match, a first-round showdown between former champion Stan Wawrinka, who only got into the draw after initially being denied a wild card, and then having that decision reversed, and former Wimbledon finalist Matteo Berrettini. It's a matchup dripping with nostalgia, 2 former Grand Slam finalists battling it out just to earn the right to face the man still chasing history. Whoever wins that one gets Djokovic in round 2. And according to insiders close to the situation, Djokovic's entire strategy early on is about conservation. Winning matters most, but getting off the court as quickly and efficiently as possible is priority number 2, because every extra minute on court at this stage of his career adds up. At his age, chasing a 25th major isn't just about talent anymore, it's about managing the body match by match. Beyond Djokovic, there are a few other names who could end up standing across the net from Alcaraz in the Final 4. Former champion Daniil Medvedev is lurking as the 7th seed. Former semifinalist Frances Tiafoe is in the mix too. And don't sleep on Brandon Nakashima, a young American who's been steadily climbing the rankings and could crash the party if the seeds fall his way. And if Alcaraz somehow claws through all of that, survives the Americans, gets past a hungry Djokovic, and still has legs left in the tank, the reward waiting in the final could be Alexander Zverev, fresh off his breakthrough Grand Slam title in Paris earlier this year, his first major after years of heartbreaking near misses. Alcaraz holds the edge in their head-to-head, 7 wins to 6, and that includes a brutal 5-set battle at this year's Australian Open semi-final, the match where Alcaraz completed the career Grand Slam. So even in that matchup, history slightly favors the Spaniard, but Zverev has proven he's capable of going the distance with him, and a major title always changes the way a player walks onto the court. So here's the big picture. A defending champion who hasn't played a competitive match in months, walking straight into a draw stacked with dangerous Americans who move well, hit hard, and love nothing more than testing an opponent who might not be 100%. Add in a possible date with the game's most decorated champion still chasing history, and a final against the man who just won in Paris, and you have one of the most brutal potential roads to a title we've seen in years. Every single round on paper looks winnable, and yet every single round carries real risk, which is exactly what makes this draw so fascinating to watch unfold. Outside of the Wawrinka-Berrettini clash, there are several other intriguing first-round matchups scattered across the men's draw, the kind of popcorn matches that tend to produce the biggest early upsets of the tournament. Keep an eye on those too, because if this U.S. Open has taught us anything from the moment the draw came out, it's that nothing about this tournament is going to be predictable. Carlos Alcaraz is the defending champion, but this time, he's going to have to earn every single round of the way, starting from the very first match.